Hey y'all, hey, it's another episode of Bonafide Her Podcast featuring the one and only Denzel Hines.
Thank you so much, Ashley. Appreciate you for having me.
Of course. How you doing, sir?
Doing good. Just staying busy, working hard. Can't complain.
I know that's right. We blessed to be alive, ain't we?
Exactly. Always.
Amen, amen. So let's get it started. So Denzel, can you tell us how you got to where you are in your sports journey?
Yeah, it's a long story, but long story short, pretty much I started off out in Southern California. Coming out of high school, I was very under recruited. And it did take a lot on me mentally, but one thing I would say is I was very resilient. I was very ambitious. So I just kept working regardless of how I felt. And I ended up at High Point, North Carolina, where I learned a lot there. We had a whole new coaching staff. They all came from Creighton, and I learned a lot. It was hard, but I'm grateful for that hard. Then I transferred to Coastal Carolina my sophomore year. That was another experience. I've been all over the country, East Coast, West Coast now. And now I'm back home at UC Riverside, So coming back home and doing it right this time. That's the plan.
I didn't know you went to High Point. That's crazy. The
I did.
336 area.
Yeah, my freshman year. Yeah, that's why I'm so familiar with that area. Like I used to drive out to Charlotte about once a week. Honestly, I loved it out there. It was so nice. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think the last time I went there, like around High Point, was like something for coaching. And I was like, I'm coaching like girls. And I was like, and then no, the last time I went there was for like UNCW. They had, them close scrimmages that people be doing, the teams be
Yeah,
doing.
I do.
That's what I was like, oh, it's like, this is not, I like this. I
Yeah,
like the job.
right.
It's kind of nice.
You
So
were on campus. Yeah, it's crazy to see, right?
it was. And it's like, man, but it's like High Point is kind of almost, I don't want to say tiny compared to like say Greensboro and Winston-Salem, but it's like that is like the tri there. The
Yeah,
tri
it's for sure a lot smaller. In between Winston Salem and Greensboro, those are two of the major cities. So High Point is kind of is there, which they renovated a lot for the school specifically. So yeah,
So my question for you is, from High Point to Coastal to you
Riverside.
see oh, it's my blooper round. I was like, oh, I'm still waking up. For from High Point to from High Point to Coastal to UC Riverside, what was like the transition like for all three of them? But also like, what was the similarities and differences in competition wise, since all of them are in different conferences?
Yeah, High Point was more of. I honestly would say the game of basketball when you get into college, it's more about building yourself, building your character, and that's some of the main things that I've learned, especially at High Point. Coming in, 17, 18 years old, I didn't realize what this was actually about. I really learned how to work hard. I learned what people do it for and what's really behind the scenes, and I'm grateful for it. It was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, but I'm grateful for it. It made me stronger, tougher than nails. Um, and we had a winning season. We had one of the longest winning streaks in the country at a point, so that was just crazy to experience. Then going to Coastal, it was kind of a flip around. We didn't have the best season all around, but I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself. How am I going to respond in a different place, in a different situation, different resources, a different culture, different everything. And I would say coming from there, it taught me to adapt. And coming back home now, this is it's another transition. This is a place where I was trying to get out of. I was doing everything I want to offer. I want to get out of get out of where I'm from. And now coming back here, I see it as an opportunity to really understand myself, understand my roots, understand why I wanted it so bad. Understand, this is what I do it for, honestly. So yeah, those are some of the main things I can say.
I felt you on when you were saying like I was trying to get out of before, but for some reason like it just point back to like this is where maybe you needed to go.
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
it was the same thing for me living in Wilmington so long. I was ready to get out and then going to different schools. And then next thing I know, it's like, oh, they offering a manager position. So somebody's like, we'll just, and it's like literally the school right in my back. I quote unquote right in my backyard. So
Yeah.
it's like, all right. But like you said, you never know why the destination is like
Exactly.
that. But the gratefulness is always there for sure. So, you know, And with the NIL, the NIL era is, huge right now.
Yeah.
What's it like now to be part of the NIL era, and what have you like kind of learned so far to where it is like help you grow both on and off the court?
I learned a lot. I would say NIL is opportunity. One of the main things I've learned is as an athlete, there's a lot more within your control than you believe, especially when it comes to NIL or just marketing yourself in general. It taught me, I've always seen myself as a businessman, but NIL taught me that I am the business. My name is a business, and personal brands are, if not the one of the most growing platforms that exist right now. There's millions of dollars being every single day being transported through this, um, and I would say kind of it gave me another purpose, really helping athletes understand that they have these opportunities, and it gives me a middle line between the two things that I love. So I'm all for NIL, and now I think it's my job to help other athletes understand this. That it's right in front of them. There's everything that they need to succeed is what they have right now. You being an athlete already subjects yourself to having an opportunity to create another life. It's there. It's like your story. You are the answer. It's a lot simpler than we think. So, yeah,
For sure, because first of all, it's about time with
yeah,
the NIL because it's been a whole long, whole long process.
yeah.
But my question for you, which leads to my question, um, you are COO of Athlete Creator Lab. Can you let
Yes,
folks know like what is the Athlete Creator Lab and
yeah.
like how did it got started?
Mhm. Yeah, so Athlete Creator Lab is pretty much a community of athletes who are trained to make great content for brands. It started with my guy Cam Scott, which who you're familiar with too. He reached out to me, just DMing athletes, and I was like, "Hey, I'm for the cause." And next, our mindsets we're so like minded that we said we have no other choice but to get in this together, which has been growing on a daily basis. So now we pretty much just been growing that community, teaching athletes how to grow their personal brand, how to see themselves as businesses, and how to actually start building a life outside of after and outside of sports. And I think the best thing about that is we work with athletes from all levels. If you're just looking to get into content, don't know where to start, Athlete Career Lab is a place to go. If you have 300,000 followers and you're looking to, turn your name into a real official business and get things rolling, Athlete Career Lab is a place to go.
What would you say is some of the misconceptions when it comes to NIL?
Mhm. Some of the misconceptions when it comes to NIL, I would say that you need an agent. I would say that you need somebody else to do it for you. That's one of the biggest things. And a lot of people think NIL is just given to the high major athletes, to people who have their names, a high platform already, but that's completely wrong. There's opportunities for every single person, regardless if you're high school. High school players are getting NIL now. JUCO, especially locally, it's there. It's just you have to train yourself to see the opportunities. Mhm.
For sure, because like Um, I know like for you, like, I remember seeing a thing where you like you say, a lot of people think NILs for high majors, but like I remember seeing a thing where you had gotten like 20 plus NIL deals within a month,
Yeah,
like, and quote unquote, like the school you're at is like like a D1 mid major, but
yeah,
it's like this man is getting 20 plus deals NIL,
yeah,
and it's like, so it's like that whole like misconception is like, well, he proved like there's a reason why like NIL is for everyone and it's not just specifically, and like you said, like high school like now is starting to get into it, JUCO's into it. So
yeah.
um I just see like, what would you say, um do you
Sorry,
see like you
you cut out right there. Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Oh, I didn't know I could have. That's crazy. I would say this is a raw real podcast. I would say that happens like that. I said like my question is too, like, you know, I see like when it comes to certain athletes, sometimes they're very, afraid to create
Yeah,
content or don't know how to get into or start it What advice would you give to them, especially those that say, I don't like speaking in the camera or I get shy?
Your purpose is bigger than anybody else's opinion. And you need to realize that this was me probably about 5 months ago. I was in that position. I was scared to show my face. I cared too much about what everybody thought about me. But it depends what you do it for, obviously. But the second a brand starts paying you a couple hundred thousands of dollars, I can promise you the next person's opinion is not going to matter as much. And you have to push past that. You have to do it because you want to do it first off. You have to get comfortable, sit in front and talk, just talk in front of the camera, get used to it. And I think it's really that internal validation. That's the stuff. Don't rely on external validation. Do what you need to do because you want to do it. And that's really where it stems.
For sure. Like, cause I know, like, I, you see here, like, scared money don't make no money. So it's
Yeah.
like, if you're scared, like, but here's the thing, I feel like too, because I know we were just talking about it, sometimes like people that are scared on the camera don't like to talk in front of it. Like you could just like do like narrations. Like you
Yeah.
could just stand in the camera and stuff, like wave and then just narrate what you're doing. And you don't have to
Yeah.
like literally speak to the camera, but you can like what's it called? Do
Yeah.
voiceover. So
And with that being said, I think is it somewhat delusional to say that you want something or life that bad, but you're not willing to do what it takes for that? I think
mm,
your dream, I get passionate when I talk about this, but is your dream serious enough to you to stop an entire vision of what life can look like because this person said that, or because you care that much about what somebody else thinks? You can't limit yourself to somebody else's belief. If you do, it's never gonna happen. It has to be all internal. So yeah,
yeah, I'm definitely clipping this because
yeah,
I'm definitely clipping this for sure. I'm definitely doing like, yep, like because that's so real. Because like you're allowing, it's like you know, it's like why are you allowing someone's 2 cents opinion to be greater than your purpose?
yeah. And kind of going back to what you said, is about getting started. One thing I like to tell my friends or people who are just starting off: everything that you want is on the other side of what you're not willing to do. That is one of my
Hmm.
biggest things. You can't do the same things expecting different results. You have to change. You have to fall in love with it. And whether that's what I'm saying. NIL, it stems a lot deeper than just name, image, and likeness because it stems within how you see yourself and how you believe in yourself. So it gets a lot deeper. It really does.
Dang, I didn't realize. Now, see, look at you. You teaching me something because it's like from the outside looking in when you're trying to teach NIL to people. It's like, so can you help me get brain? I was like, look, you got to do the work. I can help you lead. Like, hey, you could sign up and all this stuff. Like they offer NIL stuff. Like, but you got to put the
Yeah,
work in. I could just show
yeah,
you the links and give you, but I can't just like say tell you what to do. That's the part you got to do for yourself. Like
mhm,
if I was in college, heck yeah, I would do this. Yes. If I during my college years, if NIL happened, especially for college athlete managers, I would yes.
yeah.
Yes.
And it
I
sounds simple, right? It's like, all right, you're a college athlete. If I can take some videos of myself every day, every other day, and post it, and I have a chance of becoming a millionaire within the next 20 years because of doing that, I'm pretty sure about 20, 10 years from now will probably be mad if you didn't, right? Yeah, so that's kind of where I see it. I'm making decisions right now based on my future self. I don't make it based on how I feel at this current moment. Like when I first started off, I didn't want to get in front of the camera, but I remember Denzel 5 years from now, your life can look completely different if you just take this one step. If you push over this small sense of fear, this small sense of doubt, how bad do you want this life? So yeah,
man, that's so fast because like it's like your life could change in within a year or something. Just in first how let me ask you something too. How, of all the NIL stuff, do you feel like content is the most important, like the number one thing to get NIL deals, or is there certain factors that leads to it?
I would say it's one of the major factors, yes, because it shows consistency and content is going to be your key to building your personal brand. It's what and it gives you testimonials, like saying I've made content about this, I've worked with this, I've made a video about this, and a lot of people are seeing it. I would say, other than that, the main factor is learning how to pitch yourself, learning how to market yourself. That's why having business skills, a business mindset, seeing yourself as a business is so important when it comes to this. You can make the greatest videos of all time, but if you don't know how to talk to the right people at the right time about the right thing, it would never matter. So that's the biggest thing.
Big facts, cause big facts. So my question for you is, I see you like literally advocating for like women's sports, but my question for you is, what inspired you to advocate women's sports?
Um, I would just say the same thing. A lot of people don't see the opportunity. Like, and I'm saying just from like a lot of female like friends that I've had that play sports, etc. Like it's out there. You just gotta go get it. And it's growing. There's opportunity everywhere, and that's my biggest thing. I need everybody to see that they can. Don't think that you can't because you've seen an Instagram post or because of what happened in the past. You be the first one to do it. You know what I'm saying? You have to be a leader because it's so easy to subject your way of thinking in today's world. Like obviously, if most people that look like you or are doing the same thing as you aren't getting what you want, you're obviously gonna start to think that you can't do it. No, you you have to be so strong within your own thought. You can't think like other people. That's what it is. It's out there, and there's examples. People are growing. People are doing it. So I'm all for women's sport because they're starting to show that it's here. It's an opportunity. We can do it. They're starting to see, like, truly see we can get on top. So do it. I love it. Do it.
For sure, like, and what's crazy is I have seen more like female athletes create content with NIL, and then versus like I see male athletes continue to grow it. But my question is, for you, from your perspective, why do you believe like you see more like the female athletes with NIL content being grown versus say the males, or is that like a misconception?
Can you explain that a little bit more to me, please?
Yes. So like so when it comes to like certain brands, right? Some people
Yeah.
say, "Oh, I checked out this brand because this female athlete,
Yeah.
this." But like it almost seems like when it comes to NIL and stuff, like you may see a lot of female athletes doing more NIL content creation versus guys.
Yeah.
Um, do you feel like there's a lot of misconceptions with that, or is there like what are some ways that it can be like almost a balance?
Not really, because yeah, I think you have to look at the other side too. Look on who's providing them to make the content. There's a lot of brands who associate, with only, or their product is made for a woman. So they go out and they find female athletes, you know what I'm saying? And they can trust that they would utilize their product, showing it how they use in their day-to-day life. And they might actually love, like me personally, I love skincare products. I love red light. I love when brands send me those, right? So the stuff like that. And those are things that I believe women are more likely to embrace, and brands know that, so they're like, okay, I'm going to send that to them. And I just know that my return on income will be great because they actually like the product and they relate to it. It's for them. So I think that, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. First of all, skincares be on it with it. I'm like, man, I've never heard of these skincares. Like,
Right?
I'm
Right?
like, whoa. Like the one of the biggest skincares I just think that's huge in NIL is like Good Molecules. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But what was the other one that you said? Red what?
Oh, like red light therapy? Yeah.
That's okay. That's definitely new for me. So like,
Yeah, it's starting to grow a lot more, but there's so many niches you could get into. It's like it's really endless. There's millions of businesses out there, so it's really whatever you like. Honestly, I like working with brands who stuff I generally like. And as an athlete, I could give you some free game. As an athlete, there's automatically a couple niches that you can easily get into, which is, like I said, one, skincare, two, electrolytes, and three, apparel. As an athlete, you automatically have access to to working with those brands regardless. No matter what you do, what you look like, those brands will work with you. And that's free game. If you hear that and you don't utilize that, that's on you.
Hey, free game Friday, and it's Friday, and it's free
Yeah,
game.
it is.
So y'all better take notes on that. He giving you free game
Yeah,
because some people will give you game, but it's like it's gonna cost some money.
yeah,
I'm like, the man is giving you free game right here.
exactly, exactly.
So my question for you is, when it comes to representation in sports, like especially both on and off the court, where people may look up to you as a role model, or you may look up to someone as a role model. How important is representation, both on and off the court?
I think it's huge because one of the main reasons I do what I do is to show somebody who is in a position like me that it's possible. Like, I really believe we're in a world where we're made not to believe. We're made to believe what everybody else thinks, to follow a certain structure, a certain route, and I just can't get upon that in life. I just believe there's too many ways to live life. There's too many opportunities right in front of us. I think if you think like everybody else, you will get the same result as everybody else. So the only answer is to be different. If you're being weird or if you're being misunderstood in today's world, I think you're doing something good. Yeah.
Man, that's that's a whole word. I was like, dang. It's like I get misunderstood a lot, but
Yeah.
it's like, how do I explain it to where, look, I'm not misunderstood, but it's like not misunderstood. But it's like
It's okay to be. I think you're doing something right. Like honestly, that's how I see it.
like how SZA say, I'm gonna be misunderstood until the day I die. Might as well have fun with it.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I think a topic that we're kind of going back to is limiting beliefs. You just have to break out of that shell, whether it's affirmation. Me personally, I learned this through books. I read a lot. I've really studied different ways to see life, to see your current situation, and I would say the quality of life you get is off the thoughts that you think.
mm.
That's really where it starts. Everything starts here. Everything. So.
And speaking of the mind, as you know, today is considered World Mental Health Day.
Oh yeah.
So, um, so it leads to my question, and I always say that athletes are humans first, especially on my broadcast
Yeah.
channel, Athletes Advocate. I always advocate for the athletes and their mental health. So my question for you is, as an athlete and a black man, how important is mental health?
It's everything to me. I think not a lot of people pay attention to it as a part of health. A lot of times when we think of health, we think of going on a run or we think of eating clean, right? We don't think of the music that we're listening to. We don't think of the people that we're surrounding ourselves with. We don't think of the thoughts that we're thinking of how we're talking to ourselves. I believe that is all part of health, and that carries a lot more than we think. It is everything in today's world. It goes back to what I just said. The quality of life that you live goes back to the thoughts that you think, and just environment. That environment's huge. So I'm a big advocate for mental health. That's one of my biggest passions, honestly. So yeah.
What advice would you give to, say, the athletes that may be going through mental health, especially for the men? Because I would love to hear more. I would love to hear more input from about from the male athletes and men, like how important is
Yeah.
mental health, because I actually care about a man's mental health. I really do. Like I'm the
Yeah.
person that say, hey, are you good? Because how are you? So what advice would you give to that?
I would say to the men going through struggle like mental health problems, I would say a lot of time the answer is doing what needs to be done, not moving based on how you feel. And in that moment, it's probably not the answer a lot of people want to hear. But in the moment, not confiding to your emotions is going to feel like possibly the worst thing you can do. But you have to think long term. You're not thinking about yourself right now. And making a decision through discipline is only going to help you get more freedom in the future. Discipline equals freedom. That feeling of self love, that feeling of content, that feeling of confidence comes from discipline. Doing what you're going to say, and when you start stacking these small wins of actually trusting yourself, not just telling the world I'm gonna do this, do that, actually doing it yourself and making it happen, that's where confidence is going to build. That's where everything's going to slowly just start gradually, get coming together, honestly. So chase the hard, Don't run from the hard, because the hard is a lot of times is what you need. It really is. Yeah.
Big facts for real. Like I'm here for it. Let me get my little fan because that. Yes, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
So
It's yeah. Like, you shouldn't have asked me. I have so much things I can say.
hey, I always say the floor is yours, sir. So whatever you're passionate about, I'm here for it. Just
Yeah.
go with the flow with it.
Mm-hmm. Literally, but yeah, I'll leave it at that. Just chase the hard, because and the answer it'll tell itself. Do what needs to be done, not based on how you feel, and that's what I would tell a man in my position or that's struggling with mental health in general. So yeah.
For sure, especially like for athletes, they're put in a whole pedestal to where like they're treated like gods or like they can't make a mistake. But then if say they make a mistake, then it's like, oh, you ruined my parlay. Oh, then you're like, it's like they are human first. Like I'm pretty sure like behind closed doors, they have so much other things that they're passionate about. So like you see like I will give an example. Like during COVID, like you saw a lot of people in, quarantine, but they saw other things that they could do. Like a lot of people spoke up and spoke out, that was something bigger than them.
Yeah.
Like, and, fighting against the whole, shut up and play. So, do you hope to see more, like, say, athletes speak up and speak out what they're passionate about, especially defeating the stigma of shut up and play?
Yes, that's why I do what I do. You got to, like, I think there's so many purposes in this world. You wouldn't know what you truly love until you try so many things. Just I think just because I've been doing this since I was, what, 8 years old. There's who knows, I may love cooking or tennis. Like, you don't know because you haven't done it. There's so many things out there. And going back to that, shut up and play. I don't think a lot of people can actually fathom, like, being critically, like, getting pushed to that perfection every single day, from yet the people, your coaches, fans, media, like you said, parlay, everything. Like, it's a lot of pressure. That's why you have to be good with yourself with this. Like, you have to look inside, because there's a lot of external factors that will bring you down to the floor if you let it. It will. It really will. So you have to be good with yourself first. It's mandatory. Yeah.
Because, like, it's like, just imagine, it's like, especially I always want to tell the regular folks, like, that the, like, athletes got it so easy. I'm like, no.
No.
You try getting up at 5 in the morning for workouts. You try having to juggle with like classes and position work and then go to weights. And then you don't come home till like probably between like 9, 10, 11 at night where you're finally getting some rest and stuff. And then having to do that throughout the season. Also it's like also try balancing with traveling and getting that homework done by 11:59 p.m. to turn in everything. So
Yeah, I mean, it builds resilience. So it's hard right now, but like I said, it's gonna matter a couple of years from now, because to the smallest thing, even the way you think, bigger people can handle bigger problems. Being able to manage all of that, it's not easy, and it's not normal. So don't be normal. Yeah.
so my question for you is if there was a phrase or a word to describe your journey so far, what would it be?
Oh, my journey so far. See, my journey's not even. It's barely in the beginning. That's the crazy part. But like
I
a
put you on the
phrase.
spot. I put you on the spot, didn't I?
So, like you said, a phrase that describes my journey right now.
A phrase or a word to describe your journey.
Hmm. I can think of a couple words. I would say wisdom, resilience, because I think wisdom, actually using the knowledge that I know, not just knowing it, will create the life that I say I will live now. And resilience, going back to what I said earlier, building the habits and principles that align to the person that I want to be or the life that I want to live. I'm not saying I want to be that, but I'm not living like it. I have to sacrifice a lot to make it happen. I have to live like that now. So yeah.
Man. And those some two words that's like it's like those two words like man, that's deep. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
because I haven't heard anybody say wisdom to describe their dreams. Like this is a first. I am here for
Really.
it. Yes. I'm like, this is a first. I'm here
Mhm.
for it. Because
Mhm.
every time I hear wisdom, I'm thinking like the Bible that goes to
Yeah.
Proverbs. So I'm
Mhm.
like, ah. But iron sharpens iron though.
It does. 100%.
So I always ask my guests this question, which Bonafide means authentic, unique. But for the guys, I always like, the authenticity. Oh my gosh, did I say that right? Bless it if I did. So
Authenticity. Yeah.
oh yes, because Lord have mercy. There was times I struggled trying to pronounce it to where it's like, but then again, it's like it's a blooper moment. Sometimes it's how real this is.
Mhm. I
But
get it.
my question for you is, what makes Mr. Denzel Hines authentic, and what makes your story stands out?
What makes me authentic, I think, is my ambition, not just that, but my will to act and my will to make decisions internally. I want my life to look a certain way, and I'm willing to do whatever that takes. And I don't believe that anybody's opinion or anybody's actions can stop me from doing that. I generally have delusional self belief that I will live the life that I want to live. I don't see any other way, and nobody can tell me that. And regardless of having support around me or not, I just know, I feel it. I can see my life now. Like yeah, I just know. I just know. So yeah.
That's real. That's real. That's like the you're like, I have this delusion. I was like, you know what? There was a guy, I think if you remember, I don't know if there was a guy from the NBA draft that's like, you gotta be delusional about your dreams because it's like that's real.
Dude,
That's
'cause no, I'm not gonna say nobody, but not many people are gonna support you as you think. Like it's gonna look good starting off, but during the grind, the actual journey, a lot of people they don't care, they don't believe in you, and then once it circles back and around and you start succeeding, then they're gonna want to come back. People are gonna want to surround themselves with you. The thought of knowing you, but you know the truth. You know what it took. You know who was there, and always remember people who were there in the beginning. Always. So,
big facts. Big facts. It's like that. You know those pictures where it has like the two different pictures where it's like the support, where it's the empty seats,
yeah.
and the congratulations when you're winning a championship where it's full. It's like that. I was like, dang.
That's one of yeah, probably the most true things like ever actually. But so I'm saying you have to be so good with yourself. Like it's all really you versus you. Like it's just really all it is. And once you realize that, that's when it becomes a game and you just fall in love with it.
Ooh, amen to that. You better let them know. Let them know. Let them know what it is. So, like I said, you be spitting out free game and stuff, and it's Friday, so it's like, hey,
It's
free
Friday.
game. So, Mr. Denzel, can you let the viewers know how and where they can find you, and if there's any upcoming events, especially for the season, happening for you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram over at Denzel X Hines, and not anything coming up soon, but the season starts November 3rd. Oh, my bad, I'm catching a cramp.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, I had practice today too, so my bad. But yeah, check me out over at Denzel X Hines. Check out Athlete Creator Lab as well too. If you're looking to, you honestly want to turn your life, change your life through content, or if you're just looking to get some small deals, or if you're just looking to get into content, or just see what you can do with life, being an athlete in general, come reach out to Athlete Creator Lab because I promise you, we have a very strong community and everybody is so supportive. Like everybody we talk to each other, we tell each other what works, what doesn't, the wins. We're so supportive, and like everybody just wants to see each other win. And I don't think you're gonna find that in a lot of businesses. A lot are just straight money hungry. We're not. Like, we generally like to see people win, and we're doing this together. We're building with you. Like, don't forget, like, I'm an athlete too. Like, I'm in your shoes. I'm living this life with you right now. Like, build it with me. Come build it with me. So that's what I would say. Yeah.
hey, y'all be sure to follow the King Him First, Denzel X Hines. Y'all be sure to follow him and follow Athlete Creator Lab. Y'all get into content. Build your brand. No,
You won't.
like he
You won't
said,
regret it. You won't regret it.
what he said, like he said, go. You got to go with the best. So
Got to.
and it's free game too.
A lot of free game.
A lot of free game.
Literally.
Y'all be sure to follow the King Him first, and be sure to check out the live replay of Bonafide Her Podcast, episode 172, featuring Denzel Hines. A big shout out to Denzel Hines for coming on here to share your story. Y'all can check out the live replay of Bonafide Her Podcast, episode 172 after this. Thank you guys for tuning in. Peace.